to Rotorua ahead in tonight's bulletin. It's clean-up week with nearly 2,000 volunteers working on projects throughout the city. The Regional Council announces free city ride bus services in Rotorua this Saturday, and it's Activate Month at Sport Bay of Plenty. Police are investigating the source of 2 calls made to Waiariki Institute of Technology yesterday, threatening that there was a bomb at the Polytech. Inspector Ed Vandenbroek says at 4:25 yesterday afternoon, police were called to the Polytech as a result of the threats. He says cordons were established, the premises evacuated and searched, however nothing of interest was located. It's clean-up week with nearly 2,000 volunteers working on projects throughout the city. It's part of Keep New Zealand Beautiful and is run here by Keep Rotorua Beautiful. District Councillor and Environmental Portfolio Lead Janet Wepper says it's a mixed bag of events over the week, with the highlight on Friday of a talk by Matthew Luxton, who challenged himself to a rubbish-free year, learning along the way some surprising things about himself and activities.
Well, I think it's just about remembering what a special place we live in and making the effort to keep things tidy. And I mean, it's just the little things. If you see a bit of rubbish, pick it up, because it can easily build up into a big, huge mound, can't it? So it's about doing that sort of thing. So that's part of my portfolio going forward, where we're going to start focusing on those sorts of things, reducing rubbish, finding better ways to dispose of it on a daily basis. And the other important thing this week is that we've got a fellow coming on Friday called Matthew Luxton, and it's a free event, Ridges Hotel, 4:30 to 5:30 on Friday. Anyone can come, and he's going to talk about his initiative of living a whole year on one rubbish bag. So that'll be really, really interesting.
Visitors and locals can ride the bus for free this Saturday as part of a promotion to give first-timers a taste of local public transport. The promotion is also timed to coincide with Saturday's general election to help local voters get to the booths. Bay of Plenty Regional Councillor Lyle Thurston says the council wants to give the public the opportunity to try out the buses on a day when it was likely everyone has a reason of getting out and about. For a bus timetable, visit baybus.co.nz. Rotorua is hosting this year's Ear, Nose and Throat, or ENT, scientific meeting at the Energy Events Centre. Organiser and Lakes DHB ENT surgeon Dr Chris Lowe says the study of ear, nose and throat diseases has come a long way in recent years.
This conference is targeted for all ENT specialists or people wanting to be ENT specialists, junior doctors who are in training. But it also, we also welcome and have invited our allied specialties. So people who do hearing tests like audiologists are coming to our conference. People who are speech and language therapists to do with throat and swallowing problems are also coming to our conferences. We have this conference every year, and it helps us to educate ourselves. It's part of our continuous medical education. It's the only way that a lot of specialists in New Zealand can come together to meet each other, to learn from each other, and to work together.
In sport tonight, Sport Bay of Plenty is promoting Activate Month and encouraging locals to get out and get active. Communications Manager Melanie Short says this month's activities come from a wide range of sports.
So Play in the Bay, Activate Month in September, some great things happening, and it's all about engaging with the sports club. So we've got boxing, we've got Mai Tai, we've got petanque, we've got badminton, and there's a huge array. So that's September, and then we've got October coming up as well, which is Outdoors Month. And being in the lovely Bay of Plenty, we've got some great things happening. I know the BMX Club are putting together a new fundamentals class. There will be waka ama, there will be activities through dock, so walking activities and running activities, so many things coming up.
To your weather update now. Tonight will be fine with westerlies easing and an overnight low of 4. Tomorrow, Thursday, occasional rain developing, northerlies, a high of 14 and a low of 10. And the outlook for Friday, rain easing to showers, westerly change, a high of 15 and a low of 6. In the marine forecast for Lake Rotorua, northerly 10 knots developing late in the morning with waves less than half a metre, and there'll be fair visibility in rain developing towards the evening. Still to come in tonight's show, our final political interview of the election. Tonight, Māori Party co-leader Te Rotorua Flavel. We find out about this year's Get Ready Week with RDC Emergency Management Coordinator Pauline Hitchcock, and we get opinion from the street on people's perception of safety in the CBD.
The headquarters of the Māori Party going to have a catch up with Te Rotorua Flavel about what's happening in the last days leading up to the election. Te Rotorua, it's been 2 months since we've seen you last, so how has the campaigning been going?
Very good. It's a big area to cover. The Wairiki electorate has actually within it the equivalent of 4 other electorates. They all come in and dissect the electorate. So it starts from Waihi in the north to East Cape in the east and down to Turangi, so it's a big area. So we've been out and about, all the billboards have been up, and we're really just sort of in the last short period of time, in the last remaining days of the election, we're pulling everything down. We've done all the delivery of brochures, etc., done radio interviews, etc., so I think we're in a good space.
And so what is the main message, what is your focus for this election?
Well, the message is that firstly, anybody can give their vote to the Māori Party by way of their party vote. Secondly, why would they give their vote to the Māori Party? Well, I think we've proven that we are able to work positively with the government of the day, that we've said that we can, that we've always said that we will advance the interests of Māori for the best interests of the country. That means that we put up policies that, such as the free doctor's visits up to age 13 has been a part of our policy framework, which benefits everybody, but on the opposite side of the coin we can put the handbrake on if there's legislation or anything that we believe is not in the best interest of the country. So, for example, the Resource Management Act is stopped in its tracks because the Māori Party hasn't supported it, because we believe that the economic imperative has overridden the environmental protections. So we've sort of got the best of both worlds in some senses. We can only need to vote for the government on the budget vote, and other than that we can vote against them and pick up benefits from our relationship with the national government. So if people want sort of a steady as she goes relation, I suppose the country to continue on the same pathway, and we know that MMP means that not one single party can govern by themselves, then we're hoping that people will consider the Māori Party as a viable option in providing good, stable government.
So is it imperative that we have a balance when it comes to government with what the parties stand for, being one would be polar opposite to the other one?
Yeah, well, generally people talk about that as being the left and right of politics, and when they try to classify the Māori Party, they get a little bit lost, because we can be left or right, but actually we're neither of them. We're actually Māori, and so therefore we think about things according to a Māori worldview and what's in the best interests of Māori, on the basis that what's right for Māori is right for the whole country. So that's how we frame up our policy, and also how we vote in the House.
So it really is about the core values then of the Māori?
Yeah, absolutely. That we believe that we've got what we call a kaupapa, a philosophical line that we follow, which is, in some senses, they're worldly values of respect and look after the environment and so on, and unity, so they resonate with everyone. But of course in the political world that's sometimes hard to see, but generally when we make decisions based on our kaupapa, and we bring that unique Māori flavour to the decision making table. Of course there'll be non-Māori, Asian, maybe even Pacifica people who've always felt that they couldn't give their vote to the Māori Party, but they can in fact through that party vote, as I say.
So it's really not just for the Māori, it's for New Zealand as a whole? Yeah,
no, ever since we first were born we have had Asian, Pacifica, Pākehā people who've been on with our party, and in fact we've got a large number of supporters, financial supporters even, who are with the party but may not necessarily be out the front, because they respect the right for us to challenge the Māori seats, of which there are 7, and indeed put up the general seat candidates into the general seat. So we've got that. Across Wairiki I think we've got a candidate in every seat, possibly not Rotorua I don't think, but nevertheless we've got a good spread of people throughout the country.
If you had 1 minute to say something to the people of Rotorua, what would that be?
Well, that's a good question. I think what I'd say is that the Māori Party, when it started, said that we would be a strong independent Māori voice for this country, and I believe that we've done that. We said also that we would have influence in Parliament, and you can only have influence if you sit next to one of the major parties, whether it be National or Labour. in that regard, we've been able to secure some significant gains for people across the board: doctors' visits, installation of houses, influence in education across the board. We said that we also would defend Māori rights, and of course when the people of the Tūhoe region were raided some 6 or 7 years ago, we stood by them and they appreciated that. We said that we always want to advance the interests of Māori for the best interests of the country, thus our policy framework. We've adopted a view that we would follow what the Māori Battalion said when they came back from overseas, having put their bodies on the line for the price of citizenship. That's what it's commonly referred to. And when they came back, the commanding officer said to all of his people, e hoki koutou, kia o koutou maunga, kia o koutou aba, kia o koutou iwi, engari kia mau ki te kōrero tū Māori mai. Go back to your mountains, go back to your rivers, go back to your people, but above all, stand tall and stand as Māori, stand as Māori, stand as Māori. That's what we're asking people of the Wairiki to do, and indeed of Rotorua to do over this next couple of days at voting time, is to stand as Māori and provide their party vote and their candidate vote to myself as the candidate, Te Ururoa level, and to the Māori Party. And if the country believes that we've done something positive for this country, and by way of the policy initiatives that we've put forward, again, anyone can vote for the Māori Party, and we hope that we will be able to be in a position of influence again after this next election by way of an invitation from the government. So, at the end of the day, it is tū Māori mai, but it's in the best interest of this country.
Thank you.
No problem, thank you.
Kia ora everybody, welcome back. Well, how ready are you if anything happens in Rotorua, particularly an emergency? If there's an eruption, an earthquake, some flooding, are you and your family ready? We're going to be talking now with Pauline Hitchcock, who's the manager of Emergency
Management Coordinator.
There you go. That's what she is. And she just saved that emergency with her introduction. Tell me a little bit about what it is that we're gearing up for next week.
Next week is National Get Ready Week, so it's a campaign to bring awareness to the public, really. It happens every year, and the theme this year is, what would you do? So we're asking everybody the question, posing them a scenario. Major earthquake has just struck, you're at work, what would you do? So really we're trying to promote individuals and communities to get their own plans together and their survival kits and everything that they need to support themselves during that time.
What are the most crucial elements of a survival kit?
Food and water, obviously, and food that's got to be put away now and used 3, 4, 5, 10 months' time, maybe. So, and then water is absolutely essential, and that's a bit of a problem, I have to say, for storing the amount of water that we recommend. There are resources around, and you can go onto the council website or the ministry's website for tips and hints on storing water, and I've got some documents and brochures that I'm happy to share.
What are some of the common mistakes that people make with storing water?
Storing water, one of the ones is we recommend, if you're going to store it yourself, to put it in a plastic container. Now lots of people will use the milk cartons, and they don't clean up well, and so it does contaminate the water in a short space of time because you really can't get rid of that milk residue. So juice bottles are good. Or you can buy large quantities of water now from supermarkets rather than individual litre bottles.
So, just a suggestion, the best idea perhaps would be to have a supply of water that you're constantly using and topping up.
Yes.
At the back end.
And that's right. One of the tips would be to 5 drops of natural bleach, not the scented bleach, per litre of water, and it will last for a year or more. So rather than go stale.
Right.
So, but there are there's other tips and hints that you can do as well.
And not too much bleach, I would imagine.
Although
you'll be in a lot of trouble.
It doesn't do you a great deal of harm, I'm told, by the medical profession. It will clean your insides out.
Well, at least you'll be, won't won't have to worry about that after the earthquake.
No, that's right.
Tell me a little bit about the kinds of foods that you would recommend. Baked beans, rice,
That's right, all your dried and canned food. But really, if you think about it, most people, and I'm not suggesting that everybody would have this, but most people would have some foods in their refrigerator. So obviously, if you've got no power, you would use up those foods first with your fresh foods, then work your way through your freezer. And your freezer will stay frozen for a fair while, as long as you're not opening and shutting the door all the time. And then once you've got rid of all that sort of food stuff, then you can go into your survival kit mode of canned and dried foods. So muesli bars, rice, pasta, dried pasta, and that sort of stuff.
Worst case scenario, how many days should somebody who lives in Rotorua be prepared for to go by themselves?
We recommend nationally 3 days. So up to 3 days you could be on your own. And for our food supplies, there's a 3-day turnover in Rotorua. So most supermarkets have 3 days supply, no more. And if the roads are out and the big trucks can't get to us, then that's when food supplies become short. So if you can store more, then it's better for you and your family.
Thank you very much for your time. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just one more thing. It would be really good for the public if they go onto the Bay of Plenty Civil Defence website, and there is an opportunity to sign up for free text and email alerting. So just go on, give their details, and they can be registered to receive any alerts about major events happening and receive any information in advance. So a bit of preparation there.
And some help?
Yes, the Bay of Plenty website's full of information about the hazards we've got in the district, the whole Bay of Plenty, and in the different regions within the district, and also what you can do, so survival kit-wise and preparation-wise.
Very nice initiative, very important. And you know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see some treasure hunts for families where they can have a little list and take it to the supermarket, and the kids can help mum and dad pick out what they need for their
involve
their
the children. They're the ones that will nag the parents to get it done.
Yes, and it's a family thing, isn't it? Because
That's
if there's an emergency, you all need to have talked about what you're going to do. If the kids have got to stay at school and wait at school, if who's going to pick the kids up,
exactly.
Who's got grandma, and all of those important things.
Definitely part of your household emergency plan. Yep.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Kia ora.
The recent Perceptions of Safety survey released by Council showed most locals feel safe in our city. However, there was a small increase in people not feeling safe in the CBD, especially at night. We thought we'd undertake our own unscientific survey and hit the streets to get local opinion.
So you've just come to our city. Do you feel safe in the CBD?
Yeah, I feel fine here.
And have you been in the town long?
For a week. Been here for a week from Perth, Australia.
And you've walked through our city a couple of times or a few times?
We have, yeah. We've done a little bit of shopping in the streets, but yeah.
And there's no feeling of unease, or you don't feel like you're unsafe?
I'm not from here, but as far as for the time we've been here, it's fine. It's been fine.
Hey girls, do you feel safe in the CBD?
Yeah. Yes.
Is that during the day or at night?
During the day.
Yeah, because I would imagine you wouldn't be around at night, really?
No. Yeah, no.
All right then. Do you often hang out in groups when you're in town?
Yeah.
Does that give you that feeling of safety?
Yes. It makes us feel safe.
Do you feel safe in our city?
Mate, I moved out of here.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's fine. Never had a problem.
Would you feel safe at night?
I guess so. And here, yeah. I don't see why not. Do you?
Very much.
I'm not here that often, really, because I live in Wellington and I wouldn't go anywhere down there by myself at night. Maybe around here, I'm not too sure.
Yep, very safe sometimes.
Would you walk around at night and would you still feel safe?
No.
What kind of situations would make you feel unsafe, and who do you think makes us feel unsafe in our city?
Just lots of kids, really, and groups can cause damage.
Pass? Can't say really. What, during the day? Yeah, I feel fine. Yeah.
What about at night?
Probably not, no. I don't really go out at night much though, so I don't know.
What kind of things would you feel unsafe about?
I don't know, drunk people, I guess. If I was to go out at night, yeah, I don't know, but yeah.
Thank you. What about you? Do you feel safe in the inner city?
Yeah, during the day I'm fine coming out by myself, yeah. Not so much at night time though, I wouldn't.
Why not?
Just the people, I guess. Yeah, just heard a bit too many stories, I guess.
Are you from Rotorua?
No.
How long have you been here?
A little over 4 years now.
Yeah. And do you find that you feel safe in the CBD?
Yes and no.
Okay. Can you explain in what aspects you feel safe and what aspects you don't?
I feel unsafe in a way because of the amount of violence I've seen here and the amount of time that I've been here. Just random fights going on and thefts and all that kind of stuff. So it does make you feel uneasy sometimes. Yeah.
And so do you feel safe during the day?
I feel safe during the day due to the amount of people that's always around. I always see family here, so that gives me a bit of comfort. Yeah.
And so the fighting that you've seen, is that during night time or is that when there's alcohol involved? What does that include?
It's more gang affiliations, I would say. That's what I assume it'll be. Yeah.
And is that recent?
Every once in a blue moon, I'd say, might be 2-3 times a year. I see that, but I hear it happening more often than I see it.
Yes, but we've only been here for one night.
How safe do you feel in the inner city?
Pretty safe in most places. It's just like Pukewatua Street's not so nice. But yeah, pretty safe everywhere.
Do you feel safe coming out at night?
Never really, don't really come out at night really because I live out of town, so yeah. But I don't know, I suppose if you went to Eat Street it'd be safe there, so yeah.
Well, I feel pretty safe. Yeah. Sometimes anyway.
Would you feel safe at night?
Yeah, I am just because it's myself, but I don't know about any other people.
Sometimes, yeah, not all the time. Maybe, I know when I'm with my son it feels safer because I know nobody's going to come up and, you know, attack me or anything, but yeah, it's not a beautiful feeling sometimes when you walk around here.
Do you think that that's a generational thing? Is there any type of person that makes you feel unsafe?
Yeah, probably the younger ones now, you know. It seems the younger ones now have no respect and they just don't care. You know, they just do what they want, no respect to anyone else.
So you feel safer when you have people that you know around you?
Yeah, I do, definitely.
Would you walk around our town at night time?
Not by myself. I would if there was some other people, like we're in a group maybe, but not alone.
Do you feel safe in the centre?
I do, but I don't live here, I can only visit occasionally. Yes, I feel safe.
I don't live here.
We don't live here.
So I feel perfectly safe.
You feel safe now?
Yeah.
Does it look safe? Feel safe to you?
Of course it's safe.
Interesting comments there about people's feelings of safety in the CBD. How do you feel in town? You can contact us here at the station and let us know, or leave a comment on our TV Rotorua Facebook page. Tune in tomorrow night for our election montage, highlights from the campaign trail of the Rotorua and Waiariki candidates. Thanks for joining us tonight. From all the team here at City News, for Maria.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.